It's a Friday. Welcome back to the Hoop Genius podcast. I just shouted that so loud my microphone span round. Welcome back to the Hoop Genius podcast, brought to you by NBA 2K23. BJ Armstrong and Mo Moosey back with you once again. My microphone is broken, BJ. I'm going to need to fix this during the show. So if I cut out,
you should, because you screamed so loud, it should be out.
There's a reason why.
Reason being.
There's a reason why. First of all, the illness I was suffering from is now long gone. I feel back to my best.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
Which is a blessing.
Welcome back.
We thank the Lord.
Welcome back.
Appreciate it. But the other reason is we saw a battle the other night between the two best teams in the NBA. The best team in the East and the best team in the West.
I didn't see a battle.
I saw a battle.
Okay.
Equivalent to, I'm not even going to give a metaphor. It was the most one-sided battle I've seen in a very, very, very long time. Maybe
this is becoming routine with our sons.
Maybe since I was going to say they played the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs.
Yes.
It was a funny game, BJ. It was on the road in Phoenix. How about that? My personal highlight of the game. Monty Williams prepares to take the starters out. You know, when you're losing the game, you usually take the starters out like 5 minutes to go in the fourth, maybe even like earlier in the fourth quarter. Halfway through the third, with 6 minutes to go, he's putting out his starters. The Celtics are up by 45 points at that time.
Right.
94-49. Quite the scoreline. And you know, just
and
the other week,
Chris Paul was back too.
Chris Paul was back. Just the other week, you were talking about Devin Booker. We were both talking about Devin Booker being in the MVP conversation. Jason Tatum, obviously, is a resident in the MVP conversation now. But I watched the game last night, and that might have been Devin Booker's worst game of the season so far. Right. 17 points on 6 of 17 shooting, 5 personal fouls, and in 25 minutes of action, he was a negative 40. That means in the 25 minutes he was on the court, the lineups he was in were outscored by 40 points. Jaylen Brown has to be an all-star. That's not even a debate for me, okay? It's not a conversation. We're not going to have a discussion. Jaylen Brown is an all-star. I think that was like his 19th straight game with 20-plus points, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. I saw something about that last night. Jaylen Brown is an all-star, absolutely outclassed him. It was almost as if Jaylen was saying, I'm the best shooting guard in the league. Almost. As if. But that minus 40 for Devin Booker is tied with Royce O'Neal and Kelly Oubre for the lowest plus-minus in a game this season. BJ, tell me why this keeps happening to the Phoenix Suns.
Well, clearly, there is something within, the group that needs to be discussed. And one, you have 2 elite offensive players on the other side of the ball, right? The other, you're talking about Luka Doncic. And in this case, you talk about Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm. And Jaylen Brown.
That's the first thing. Yeah, and Jaylen Brown is right there. No,
we got to put him in that conversation now. I'm not saying he's an MVP candidate, but he's up there.
But we're talking about just 2 specific. When you say offensive players, you can argue that both Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum are the best offensive players in the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can argue that. Second, the pace of the game suddenly now gets dictated by those players. Why? Is because you have to double those players. And Phoenix is a team that doesn't double. They don't like to double. They don't like to compromise the way they play on the defensive end, right? They have what's called a drop coverage.
Mm-hmm.
The Phoenix Suns.
That's where the big man, when there's a screen roll, the big man will sink backwards to contain any drives.
And you have to, in my opinion, you have to double or give absolute help to those 2 players in any type of one-on-one coverage or a screen roll. And until you make an adjustment on that end, they're just going to continue to exploit it. I think once the Dallas Mavericks last year caught on to the coverage, they just exploited it. And clearly last night, because when your team starts losing by 40 points, you're going to have those type of games from time to time during the course of a season, right? Every year we would account for at least 3 to 5 of those games that for just unexplained reasons, right? Team gets hot, you just come out flat, travel, your plane gets delayed, you get in at 3, 4 in the morning. You're going to have these type, but you get Chris Paul back, you're at home, big game, television, and you're down 45.
But the crowd was more supporting the Celtics than the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so you can see that there's something going on. Now, I think it's because you have 2 players who are just that good on the offensive end. I mean, you have to help on Luka Doncic. You have to. I don't, he's just that good. He's literally that good. And Jason Tatum right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, Giannis is still the best player in the league. But I'm gonna tell you something. This kid, I'm gonna give this kid Jason Tatum. I told you earlier this week or last week. I have no more questions about Jason Tatum. Mm-hmm. You have to deal with him. And let me tell you something else. This kid, Jaylen Brown, ladies and gentlemen, he ain't too far behind. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the thing I love about both of those players right now is that they are playing great basketball, meaning they make the right play. Mm-hmm. They just make the right play, okay? And how do I know they're making the right play? Because you could see the players around them starting to flourish in their roles, okay? You're starting to see Blake Griffin. Where did Blake Griffin come from?
Listen, this is what we didn't even say. Al Horford didn't play yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Rob Williams, this is where it gets scary. Rob Williams is about 12 days away from coming back, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. They're doing this without their defensive anchor. Big Al didn't play. All the role players are shooting a silly percentage from 3. It's one of those ones where I look at it and think, surely this shooting variance has to average out to the mean and they're going to have a cold streak coming up soon. But right now, it doesn't look like they're slowing down.
Well, they're playing at a nice pace. Mo, I have a term that kind of goes in the NBA circles. You have to play a blended brand of basketball. They play at a nice pace between their half-court execution, getting out and running, playing advantage basketball, 4 against 3, 3 against 2, 2 against 1. And the thing that they're playing, Mo, that you have to give them, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown together. Jaylen Brown was maybe a little ahead of Jason Tatum on the defensive end. Well, I'm not sure right now.
I think Tatum's a better defender than Brown.
Jason Tatum's commitment now on the defensive end, along with Jaylen Brown's commitment on the defensive end. Now you're talking about when your best players are playing along with the best defensive player on the perimeter being Marcus Smart. Mm-hmm. Well, you got something special.
Jaylen said
it is.
Jaylen said he feels like him and Tatum are the best 2-way players in the league right now.
Okay. And that's what I'm saying. And Mo, that's carried over to the offensive end. When you're playing defense like that, now it carries over on the offensive end because now one word comes into play when you start playing defense like this: trust. That's what I see with this team. Mm-hmm. They're beginning to trust how they play, right? Jaylen Brown gets double teamed, he makes the right play. Mm-hmm. Jason Tatum gets the right team. And you know what I love about this group is the team trusts those guys to win the game at the end. Because is there any doubt where the ball's going to at the end of the game?
No chance.
Okay. So now, Mo, they are a well-oiled machine. And they are, or they should be getting better once the Time Lord gets back in the lineup on the defensive end, which should make them that much better. Okay. So you got to give these guys credit.
One thing I want to say with Jason Tatum in particular is screening. If you watch the Celtics offense, he's setting a great amount of off-ball screens to get himself good looks. And he has every game, it seems like he has a couple instances where he's screening on the ball and he slips through for easy buckets, just to get those easy baskets, go into the buckets, get your rhythm, see the ball go through the hoop.
You're watching the evolution of Jason Tatum right in front of us. And he's figuring out every game how to become a better scorer. And that's what's really
the other end, though. When Jason Tatum is guarding these superstar players, the Devin Bookers of the world, whoever you name it, these guys are seeing Tatum guard them, and they're calling for screens. They're saying, no, I don't want this guy to guard me. He's tall. He's got length. He's got the speed. He's got the agility. His ability to navigate screens now. When players set screens on him to try and get the defense to switch, his ability, we talked about it a couple of days ago with Marcus Smart, or it might have been last week. Marcus Smart's ability to fight through screens and not give up the easy switch. Jason Tatum is doing exactly that. It was quite prevalent in the Raptors game the other day, and you see it again. He's not giving up on the defensive end. He's extending energy on defense and on offense. And you're seeing the whole team being able to trust each other, as you alluded to. They're trusting each other on offense. So it's not that Jason Tatum's going to ISO on every possession like we used to see with the Celtics, where him and Brown would take turns. You're seeing a great team brand of basketball. And if they can keep this going, adding Rob Williams back into the mix, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So I'm just going to leave that.
Let's just call it like we see it, Mo. It is fun to watch good basketball. Mm-hmm. This team defends. They limit the other team to one shot. That's rebounding. And they pass the ball, and they're playing a nice brand of basketball. They set screens for one another, a loose ball. You got 2-3 guys on the floor. When you say share the basketball, they play the game with nice spacing. Defensively, it's beautiful for them to watch. And you know what I love about this team is they are a physical team. Mm-hmm. They're a physical group, right? I mean, mm-hmm. you know, Grant Williams and Blake Griffin, Al Horford, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. Okay, I know we live in this era of so-called pace and space, but when you play against the Celtics, they're going to touch your bodies a little bit. They are. It is what it is. And the referees call the game accordingly. They are probably the most physical team in the league right now, especially on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. And when you play them, I mean, they play like men. So I know this is like a new era and a new whatever, but if anything, they probably play more old school than any team that I've seen in the last 10 years.
And here's the thing. The reason why I think they did so well last season is they were big at every position. Okay, Marcus Smart is quite big for a point guard. And then they had Brown at the 2, Tatum at the 3, Horford at the 4, and Rob Williams at the 5. Okay, now without Rob Williams, they've been playing smaller lineups. They've been playing with guys like Al Horford at the 5 and Tatum at the 4, which I thought would be a disadvantage.
Or they're shorter. I don't know if they're smaller.
Yeah.
They're shorter. Yeah. But Blake Griffin is.
They're adding more size to the lineup when the Time Lord comes back in. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm waiting for the real test. I spoke about this before. Christmas Day against Milwaukee. That's going to be the first real test of the season, in my opinion. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that.
I'm going to say this. They've passed the first test because they've been notorious for being a slow starter.
Yep.
So they've passed, in my opinion, they've passed the first test, which is, let's see how they're going to respond. They had a little adversity over the summer, right? We don't need to revisit that. The players clearly worked on their game. Okay, clearly. Mm-hmm. Clearly, they didn't rest on their success last year. And clearly, this team got a little taste of what it was like to be in the finals, and they like it.
Yep.
Okay. It's clear. It's not like, oh, well, we got to the finals last year. We're just going to waltz because we know what it takes to play when it's time to play. No, they said, you know what? We're going to come. We want home court. Okay. They set a goal. We want home court. I'm going to, Mo, they're not playing this way in the regular season because, you know, it's been some talk in the media about, the regular season doesn't matter. Okay. That's fine. If you don't understand how to win a championship, you could take that perspective.
Tell them, BJ, flex on them.
No. When people say that, you go, okay, they must not understand. Home court matters.
Yep.
Home court matters, Mo. It does. Okay. Especially in the playoffs. We know that your bench plays better at home. And this team right now, their bench is playing really good. Blake Griffin right now, Mo, playing really good basketball. Mm-hmm. He's turning about the hands. I've seen him throw down the alley the other day. Mo, you hear me say this in the playoffs. You got to find, like you try to find unexpected contributions.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, Blake Griffin is an unexpected contribution who was signed late that is starting for them and playing a nice role. He's found his role with this group.
And this is all without Danilo Gallinari, who's missing the entire season.
That's what I'm saying, Mo. That's what I'm saying. This team right now here, but I just want to say this. I like their mindset because right now, Mo, they're playing with the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose is if we can get home court, we feel that we can win this thing.
Yep.
Because let me tell you something, Mo, home court matters. And if you're going to win, I'm not saying you don't need to win on the road, but let me tell you something. I like my chances even more so when I know I got that home court advantage.
Well, we saw them win on the road in game 6 in Milwaukee, and then at game 7, Grant Williams came alive. So the Celtics dominating the Eastern Conference, with the Suns getting pulverized by the Celtics. The Pelicans on a 5-game win streak shot to the top of the Western Conference. Zion Williamson during this 5-game win streak, finally healthy back on the court. 28 points, 9.8 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.8 steals, 1.6 blocks on 65% field goal shooting per game. Brandon Ingram's missed time. CJ's not been having the best run of form. Zion Williamson is really making some noise. He's, if he's staying on the court, he's really doing his thing. This might be the best kind of stretch of games that we've seen in his career so far. And he looks like he's only getting more and more comfortable out there.
Yeah. Mo, I watched them last night in detail. I watched them last night. They played the Pistons last night, and I watched it in detail. Okay, I'm first of all, I want to give a shout out to Zion Williamson for what he's done physically, right, with his body. He's a big man, okay, and he's never. It's not. Some people are just big, right, Mo? He's just a big man.
Relatable.
He's
very
never
relatable.
Gonna get. Yeah.
You're never going to see me skinny, PJ. I can relate this on a personal level.
He's just a big man. However, you know what, Mo? I like how he's changed this game to where he's added more skill to his game now.
We're seeing points.
He still has the explosiveness. Yes, I'm talking about Zion. Zion now, Mo, I just watched him close, I was like, let me watch him because CJ was back in the lineup. Brandon is not there. So I always like to see how players play, the spacing on the floor. Mo, he's got a nice rhythm right now. Mm-hmm. You know how you watch players and they're playing with a nice rhythm? First, I want to give a shout out to him. And that coaching staff has done a nice job. They put him in really nice situations where he catches that ball on the move, Mo. And he, I look at players and I always say, great players, you look at their players, you go, what's his move? What's his signature move? If some players had the fade away, this guy has the jab step. This guy has the footwork. Mm-hmm. This guy, if he just gets to the paint, Mo, he's unstoppable.
Did you see how many times against the Pistons, he would be in the paint, going to score a layup, and they would literally bear hug him and try and drag him to the floor, and he would still make the bucket.
Mo, his signature move is just get him the ball on the move in the paint. Mo, he's so quick. Mo, he's so quick and explosive. There's nothing you can do. I'm just convinced now, Mo, there's nothing you can do with him. That's his signature move. Just get him the ball on the move in the paint somewhere, and he'll figure out the rest. Mm-hmm. He's that good. I like what he's doing. I like how they utilize him. He plays the 4, the 5, or whatever position he plays. He's just got a nice rhythm and a nice flow, and they seem to have he's settled in. So, I think they're going to be a tough group. And once BI gets back in the lineup, they're going to be tough. So, give the Pelicans and their staff and their team. Hope that the one kid gets back. He got hurt last night, Alvarado.
Yep.
He got hurt last night. However, my guy Willie Green,
they're playing together as a unit as well. You can see the chemistry coming through your screen.
Yes.
The egos aren't involved. But just to finish off, you got to talk about one more team in the Western Conference, because they're only half a game. No, not Sacramento, not today. Although, did I send you the picture that I saved yesterday, BJ? I can't remember if I sent this to you or not. If I didn't, I'm going to send it to you right now. Okay. I saw the funniest thing happen last night. Look at your phone right now. The Milwaukee Bucks played the Sacramento Kings, and the Milwaukee Bucks took the win. And remember when we were like, any team's going to copy the beam? the Milwaukee Bucks made a beam just especially for playing against the Sacramento Kings. And look what they put on the Jumbotron in their arena when they beat the Kings last night. They made an animation of a green beam coming out of the Milwaukee arena.
I'm telling you, man, that is
that
great.
might be the best trolling so far of the season. I loved it.
That is great. That is awesome. That is great. That is great. You know what? I love the beam. I'm all about the beam. Mo, we got to get us a beam. We got to get us a beam.
The Hoop Genius podcast will have an orange beam going to Sky. But
we got a beam.
I didn't want to talk about the Kings.
Let everybody know.
I want to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies real quick. They're half a game back from the first seed.
Yes.
Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. are yet to play any minutes together so far this season. And yet they're half a game back off the first seed. 4-game win streak coming along nicely. They're really taking things over. Like, we've seen them be able to overcome injuries last season when Ja Morant was out for a stretch and Jaren Jackson Jr.'s missed time as well. I like what they're doing down there in Memphis. Do you think that they could run up this regular season as well?
Well, you know, I'm looking at this Western Conference right now. And that's not a clear-cut favorite. You know, Memphis could come out of this. Memphis could come out of this Western Conference.
The reason why these two teams, New Orleans and Memphis, excite me so much is they've got youth on their side. You know, like the Warriors and the Clippers and these guys, they've got aging rosters. The Mavericks, by the way, great job with Tim Hardaway Jr. coming into the starting lineup. He's been playing a million times better. But they've got
on fire, right?
You know, Luka's younger, but these two teams, Ja Morant and Zion Williamson, respectively, leading these two teams. This is really, we're seeing the future of the Western Conference. And they already started to put it together.
You know, I think right now, no one has really solidified, you know, that statement. However, I agree with you when you just look at age. You know, I agree with you. You know, when you look at Ja Morant, you look at Zion, certainly you would go, wow, those guys, if they can be healthy or maintain their health, they're going to be there for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
This year in the Western Conference, it looks like to me it's up for it's up for anyone's.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's up for grabs right now. Okay, I don't know if there's a clear-cut favorite as far as teams. You know, New Orleans right now sits at the top. You know, Phoenix is right there. Memphis, Denver has been hovering within the top 4, probably most consistent out of those teams. But then you start talking to Sacramento. Okay, raise your hand if you had Utah in your top 8 this late in the season. Okay, okay.
Shout out to Andy Williams listening to the podcast.
Yeah, we all thought, or at least I thought, the Clippers would be better, but they've had some health issues. The Warriors right now are in the 9th or 10th spot as we're talking. Tough loss last night to the Utah Jazz, so it's anyone's grab right now. Now, you know, the people in the NBA would say it's a marathon, and they are right.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. You know, I think it's going to be tough here, and you know, I'm just really excited to see, you know, teams like Sacramento playing good basketball.
Mm-hmm. It was a good game. Did you watch the game against Milwaukee?
Yeah, I did not watch that last night.
Here's one thing. Giannis's free throw shooting is back to taking a long time, but he went 9 of 10 from the line. He had another typical Giannis performance: 35, 6 and 7, 12 and 19 from the field, 9 of 10 from the free throw line.
You know what? He has nights like this, and we don't even say
30-point game.
I mean, I know, Mo. You know what? I can't take this guy for granted. He's so good. He's so good. What are they like? What are they? They've only lost like 6 or 7 games.
They're second in the East. Yeah, 6 games. Giannis has more points than minutes in his last 8 games. Now, this is why when people, I had a, you know, I'm just going to tell you a story. I had a conversation with my friend Harry. Shout out to Harry recently, and we were having a debate, and he was bringing me all these stats, right? Because we're arguing about the best, who's better players all time. Okay, and he's bringing me all these stats. And I'm saying, my brother, stats aren't real. Because if Giannis really wanted to, he could go out and average 40 or 50 if he really wanted to. He plays 30 minutes, 35 minutes some nights. Some nights he plays less than 30, but he still puts up 30 points. There are other superstars people who may even be in the so-called GOAT discussion that I watched be down 20 and still stay in the game to get to their 27, 30 points. Or they'll be up massively and still stay in the game to get their points. But Giannis, he stays in his lane, does his thing, and it's amazing to see. That's what I just wanted to say on that.
Listen, I don't have any more descriptions for him other than I just look at the schedule and go, I can't wait to watch him play.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I love everything about him. I love everything he stands for, how he plays the game. And Middleton back, you can really tell they missed Middleton. And he's that much better.
Their off-season signing, Joe Ingles, has just been assigned to the G League, which means he's starting to get reps in, and he could be back way earlier than anticipated. I don't know what impact he's going to have on the team and how the fit's going to look, but it's just another body. It was a bit of a questionable fit because the way he plays doesn't typically fit with someone like that. But
I will say this. I
like his IQ. I feel like he can make it worse.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think he fits probably how they want to play. However, he does have toughness, check. He has size, check. However, when you talk about the players he's going to have to defend in that Eastern Conference Finals, there's a certain level of athleticism that you're going to have to play with when you're talking about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Mo, there's a certain level of athleticism.
Off an
like
ACL.
Joe Ingles.
Off an ACL, too.
Hey. With or without. There's a
maybe they'll get him to guard Al Horford.
Hey. Uncle Al in the playoffs is a different player. So I gotta put some respect on his name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We know Grant Williams is due for one game. He's due for one game.
At least he's playing way better this season. I think he can give you a couple games.
I don't know. I feel like he goes to the coaching staff and say, just let me know when you need this 30-point game. I only got one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think right now, Joe Ingles is capable of playing at that level. Okay. However, there's a certain level of athleticism that's going to be needed. Okay. Now, their best defender is Drew Holiday. He's their best, perimeter defender. And their best defender, right, probably in the league is Giannis. So you're going to ask him at some point to take on Tatum or Brown and carry the load on the offensive end and dominate on the boards and distribute the basketball and take on the double team. I'm just saying, Mo, I don't know where but I like Joe Ingles. I just don't know if Joe Ingles and Chris Middleton match up physically with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Well, luckily for them, Chris Middleton turns into prime Michael Jordan whenever he plays the Celtics. He hits game winners. Okay. He puts up 30, 40 points. Like, I don't know what it is with Chris Middleton. Maybe it's
Chris Middleton is a player.
I used to make so many jokes about Chris Middleton, and I think it's karma that now he just tortures my team every time he plays them. But I want to end the show on this one thing. Yes. Shout outs to BG, Brittany Griner, fresh home.
Yes.
I don't know if you have that saying in the States.
Yes.
Fresh home on the flight back to the US. Freedom after, I think it was 294 days in custody over there in Russia. Shout out to her. I'm happy for her. Happy for her family to have her back. Shout out to her.
Yes.
Holding it down because that can't have been easy. But BJ and I will be back Monday for more NBA talk. BJ,
I need more. Memphis. I got to start watching these teams. I got to start watching Memphis now. New Orleans. These games, Mo, I think these games are meaningful right now. Like, I'm excited to watch the game.
Every game is meaningful. There's not a single.
Yeah, I think these games.
And the games where you think, nah, I'm not going to watch that. I'll watch the highlights tomorrow. They always turn out to be the best games. This league now, every team has players that you need to see. Every team has a storyline that you need to see. I'm excited. Any games over the weekend that are going to capture your eye, because we've got Giannis's Bucks and Luka's Mavericks on Friday night. Tonight going up against each other. The Suns and the Pelicans battle for the first seed. The Lakers, if LeBron and AD are back healthy, I don't know what's going on with them, are facing the Sixers. The Kings and the Cavs. BJ, there's just so many games. There's just so
The
many
King-
games.
Yeah, I watched the Cavs and the Lakers. You know what? That Laker team, man. I like that. I like that Laker team.
Mm-hmm.
I like them a little bit. They battled last night. I mean, they lost, but they battled.
Well,
yeah. I mean, those are good games. I
the
mean,
game
those are
of the
good
weekend,
games.
though. The game of the weekend. We have an NBA Finals rematch: the Celtics and the Warriors on Saturday night.
Oh, I'll be. Oh,
Well, what we could do, what we could do is do a little watch party on playback.
Oh, hey, Bo,
that
you set it up,
depends.
I'm there.
That depends. I need to see the demand from the people. You guys got to tell me in the Discord or tweet me or Instagram me and let me know. We're only going to do it if you guys all make enough noise. Let me know if you want to see us doing these watch-alongs again, where you can watch the game and have us commentate and have a conversation with us during the game. You guys let us know.
I'm down. Hey, Mo. I'm down with that, Mo. I'm down with that. You know, hey, Mo.
It's down to the
There's a
people,
ball
big.
bouncing.
It's
Mo, let me
down to
tell
the people.
If there's a ball bouncing and shoes squeaking, I'm there, baby. I'm there.
That's right. BJ is an avid squash player.
That's pretty funny.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys for checking in with us all week. We're going to be back on Monday with more. If you want to see the watch party, make some noise on social media and we'll get that cracking for you. In the meantime, share the show with a friend, leave a review, leave a 5-star rating, and most importantly, get buckets.